The stairs cut through Lily Montgomery like knives as her wheelchair rolled across the gleaming marble floor of the Grand Pavilion. Around her, California's elite mingled in designer gowns and tailored tuxedos that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. The wedding reception of tech mogul Victor Caldwell was exactly as advertised, the social event of the year. "Excuse me, ma'am, but are you sure you're at the right event?" A tall waiter with perfectly styled hair blocked her path, his voice dropping to a whisper. "This is a private function." Lily smiled, pulling the invitation from her simple clutch purse. "I believe I am. Thank you." The waiter's eyes widened as he examined the gold-embossed card. With a quick nod and a mumbled apology, he stepped aside. Lily continued forward, painfully aware of the contrast between her modest navy dress and the sea of designer labels surrounding her. "Who invited her?" A woman's voice carried across the room, purposely loud enough for Lily to hear. "Probably one of Victor's charity cases," another replied with a laugh. Lily kept her eyes forward, her expression neutral. Let them stare, let them whisper. They had no idea who she really was, and that was exactly how she wanted it. 6 months earlier, Lily had been sitting in her modest downtown Los Angeles apartment, reviewing quarterly reports from her tech empire. Despite her personal fortune reaching well into the billions, she lived simply. Her 3-bedroom apartment was comfortable but unassuming. No housekeepers, no personal assistants hovering around, just Lily, her computers, and her thoughts. The headline on her tablet had caught her attention that morning. Tech giant Victor Caldwell announces engagement to Instagram influencer Sabrina Wells. The accompanying photo showed Victor, with his perfect white teeth and carefully disheveled hair, embracing a stunning blonde woman. They stood on the deck of his yacht, the California coastline creating a picturesque backdrop. Lily had known Victor for years, though he had never met her. She operated from the shadows, building her empire through a series of shell companies and proxies. To the public, her company, Montgomery Tech Solutions, was run by a team of executives who served as the face of the business. Lily was just a name on paperwork, a ghost in the machine. Victor, on the other hand, had built his career on being seen. Press conferences, magazine covers, talk show appearances. He was the quintessential tech celebrity. His company, Caldwell Innovations, was Montgomery's biggest competitor, though lately their profits had been slipping. What bothered Lily wasn't Victor's success. It was his hypocrisy. He built his public image on philanthropic initiatives for people with disabilities while simultaneously mocking them behind closed doors. Lily had witnessed it firsthand at a tech conference 3 years ago, where she'd attended anonymously. Victor had made a cruel joke about a presenter in a wheelchair, thinking no one important would hear. Someone important did hear, and she never forgot. Now, as Lily navigated through the crowd of wedding guests, she spotted Victor across the room, laughing with a group of Silicon Valley executives. His new bride, Sabrina, stood beside him, her diamond-encrusted wedding gown catching the light with every movement. "Ma'am, would you like to be seated?" A young event coordinator approached Lily, gesturing toward the back of the reception hall where the less important guests were placed. "Yes, thank you," Lily replied softly. The coordinator led her to a table near the exit doors, clearly the table for those who didn't quite make the cut but couldn't be denied an invitation. Lily's tablemates included distant relatives and low-level employees who had won their seats through office raffles. "I'm Amelia," the woman next to her said, extending her hand. "Victor's second cousin once removed, or third cousin twice removed. I can never keep track. Either way, apparently not important enough for the family table." She laughed good-naturedly. Lily shook her hand. "Lily Montgomery. No relation to anyone here." "So how do you know the happy couple?" Amelia asked, sipping her champagne. "I don't really," Lily replied truthfully. "Let's just say I have a professional interest in Victor's business ventures." Amelia leaned closer. "Between us, this whole wedding is a business venture. Word is, Victor's company is in trouble. This marriage, it's a merger, not a love match. Sabrina's father owns half the real estate in downtown San Francisco. Lily raised an eyebrow. This was news to her. Her intelligence on Victor's financial situation had suggested problems, but nothing this serious. Is that so? Oh yes, Amelia continued, warming to her subject. Victor's been struggling ever since that new security software failed last year. Lost millions, but no one's supposed to know that. The dinner service began, and Lily observed the room carefully. Victor made his rounds, visiting every table, except theirs. When the dancing started, he and Sabrina took center stage, the perfect couple in a perfect setting. But Lily noticed the tension in Victor's smile, the way his eyes constantly scanned the room, as if looking for someone important. After the first dance, Lily decided to make her move. She maneuvered her wheelchair toward the bar, positioning herself where Victor would need to pass to return to his table. "Excuse me," she said softly as he walked by. Victor stopped, his practiced smile firmly in place. "Hello there. Enjoying the celebration?" "Very much. Congratulations on your marriage," Lily said, "and on the Nakamura deal." Victor's smile faltered for just a second. The Nakamura deal was a confidential acquisition his company was negotiating, something that hadn't been made public yet. "I'm sorry, I don't think we've met," he said, his voice dropping. "We haven't. I'm Lily Montgomery." She extended her hand. Victor shook it automatically, his brow furrowing as he tried to place her name. "Montgomery, are you with Westridge Investments?" "No," Lily smiled. "But it's interesting you should mention them. I heard they pulled their funding from your new project." The color drained slightly from Victor's face. "I should get back to my bride. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Ms. Montgomery." He walked away quickly, pulling his phone from his pocket. Lily watched him go, a small smile playing on her lips. The seed had been planted. By morning, Victor would be scrambling to figure out who she was and how she knew about his company's private affairs. As the evening wore on, Lily remained at her table, observing the celebration while remaining virtually invisible to the other guests. She watched as Victor whispered something to his best man, who then began discreetly taking photos of her with his phone. She pretended not to notice. "Not much of a dancer, are you?" Amelia returned to the table, her cheeks flushed from exertion. Lily gestured to her wheelchair with a wry smile. "Not in the traditional sense." Amelia's face reddened. "I'm so sorry. That was thoughtless of me." "Don't worry about it," Lily replied. "People often don't see me clearly." That was the story of Lily's life, being unseen, underestimated. After a childhood accident left her paralyzed from the waist down, people had constantly lowered their expectations of what she could achieve. Her own parents had worried she'd never live independently, let alone build a technological empire. The accident had shaped her in ways no one could have predicted. While other teenagers were socializing, Lily was teaching herself coding and network architecture. When college classmates were partying, she was developing the security algorithms that would eventually become the foundation of her company. By age 30, Lily had created a revolutionary encryption software that major corporations and governments now used worldwide. By 40, her net worth had surpassed $10 billion. Yet she remained anonymous, working through proxies and shell companies, letting others take the public credit. It wasn't that Lily feared the spotlight, she simply didn't need it. What she needed was respect, not for her wealth, but for her mind. And people like Victor Caldwell, who judged others based on appearances, who built their empires on charm rather than substance, represented everything she despised about the tech industry. As the reception began winding down, Lily noticed Victor becoming increasingly agitated, checking his phone frequently, his conversation with his new father-in-law appearing tense. She decided it was time to leave. "It was lovely meeting you, Amelia," Lily said, gathering her things. "You too, Lily. Here, take my card. If you're ever interested in real estate in the Bay Area, give me a call." Amelia handed her a business card. I'm not just Victor's forgotten cousin. I'm also a killer real estate agent. Lily smiled, tucking the card into her purse. I might take you up on that. As she made her way toward the exit, Lily noticed Victor watching her from across the room. Their eyes met, and she held his gaze steadily until he looked away first. A small victory, but satisfying nonetheless. Outside, her driver was waiting with her adapted vehicle. How was the wedding, Miss Montgomery? He asked, helping her into the car. Illuminating, James. Very illuminating. Lily settled into her seat as the car pulled away from the glittering venue. I need you to make a call tomorrow morning. Tell Sarah to move forward with Phase 2. Yes, ma'am. As they drove through the California hills, Lily watched the lights of the wedding venue recede in the distance. Victor Caldwell thought he was untouchable, protected by his wealth and connections. He believed appearances were everything, that a wheelchair automatically made someone weak and unimportant. Lily smiled to herself in the darkness of the car. Victor had no idea what was coming. The woman he had dismissed, the guest he hadn't bothered to properly acknowledge, was about to become his worst nightmare. Phase 1 had been simple reconnaissance. Phase 2 would shake the very foundation of Victor's carefully constructed world, and by the time she was finished, everyone would know exactly who Lily Montgomery was. The game had begun, and Lily was playing to win. The morning after Victor Caldwell's wedding, Lily sat at her kitchen table, sipping coffee and scrolling through her tablet. Social media was flooded with pictures from the wedding of the year. In every photo, Victor and his new bride, Sabrina, were smiling, looking like the perfect couple. But Lily knew better. Sarah, are you there? Lily spoke toward her laptop screen, where her most trusted employee waited on a video call. Right here, Lily, Sarah replied. A woman in her 30s with short brown hair appeared on screen. How was the wedding? Exactly what I expected. All show, no substance. Lily took another sip of her coffee. Victor didn't even recognize me. Sarah smiled. That's the point, isn't it? You've kept your identity hidden for years. Yes, but it's still surprising. The man claims to be a tech genius, yet he can't recognize the name of his biggest competitor. Lily shook her head. What's the status on Phase 2? Sarah's expression turned serious. We're ready. The documents you requested are prepared. Our sources confirm that Victor's company is in worse shape than anyone realizes. He's been hiding his financial problems for at least a year. And the Nakamura deal? Falling apart as we speak. After your hint last night, Victor called his team in a panic. They think there's a leak in their company. They're turning on each other just as you predicted. Lily nodded, satisfied. Phase 2 was simple. Create doubt. Make Victor question everything around him. And our offer to Westridge Investments. They received it this morning. Our proposal to fund Victor's competitor is very appealing to them, especially after they pulled out of Caldwell Innovations last month. Lily smiled. Everything was going according to plan. Victor had built his reputation on being untouchable, a tech visionary who could do no wrong. But his success was a house of cards, built on loans, false promises, and stolen ideas. It was time for it to come crashing down. What about the venue? Lily asked. That's the best part, Sarah said, her eyes lighting up. The property Victor used for his wedding. It's failing. He bought it 6 months ago, thinking he could turn it into an exclusive event space. But it needs major repairs that he can't afford. He's trying to sell it quietly. Perfect. Have our real estate division reach out through a shell company. Make an offer, but a low one. I want him to feel the pressure. Sarah nodded, making notes. Consider it done. And what about the bride, Sabrina? Leave her out of this for now, Lily said firmly. This is between Victor and me. She might be innocent in all this. After finishing her call with Sarah, Lily wheeled herself to the window of her apartment. From 15 floors up, she had a clear view of downtown Los Angeles. Somewhere out there, Victor was probably still celebrating his perfect wedding, unaware that his perfect life was about to unravel. 3 days later, Lily received the call she'd been waiting for. "He took the bait," Sarah said excitedly. "Victor is selling the wedding venue to our shell company. He was desperate enough to accept our low offer." "Good. Now leak the information to Tech Daily. Make sure they understand that Victor's company is struggling financially. Suggest that his lavish wedding was a smokescreen to hide his business troubles." "Won't he know it's you behind all this?" Sarah asked. "He might suspect, but he can't prove anything. That's the beauty of it." The next morning, the headline in Tech Daily read, "Trouble in Paradise. Tech giant. Victor Caldwell sells wedding venue at loss." The article mentioned anonymous sources claiming that Caldwell Innovations was facing serious financial difficulties. Victor's spokesperson immediately denied the claims, but the damage was done. In the tech world, perception was reality. Lily watched as Victor's carefully crafted image began to crack. His company's stock dropped 12% in a single day. Investors started asking questions. Business partners became nervous, all from one well-placed news story. A week after the wedding, Lily decided it was time to move Phase 2 into high gear. She arranged a chance meeting with Amelia, Victor's cousin, whom she'd met at the wedding. They met at a small cafe in Santa Monica, away from the busy tech centers where they might be recognized. "Lily, so good to see you again," Amelia said, giving her a warm hug before sitting down across from her. "I was surprised to get your call. I've been thinking about what you said at the wedding, about real estate in the Bay Area," Lily said, keeping her voice casual. "I might be interested in making some investments." Amelia's face lit up. "Really? That's wonderful. What kind of properties are you looking for?" "Commercial, mostly. Tech spaces. Actually, I was wondering if you knew anything about that beautiful venue where Victor held his wedding. I heard it might be for sale." Amelia's smile faltered slightly. "Oh, you heard about that?" "Yes, Victor sold it already, very quickly and quietly. The family is a bit upset about it, to be honest. It was such a special place." "Do you know why he sold it?" Amelia leaned forward, lowering her voice. "Between us? I think he's having money problems. My uncle, Victor's father, let it slip that Victor had taken out several large loans recently. The wedding itself cost millions. Sabrina wanted everything top of the line." "That's surprising," Lily said, feigning innocence. "I thought Caldwell Innovations was doing well." "That's what everyone thinks. But Victor has always been good at putting on a show. You know what they say? All that glitters isn't gold." Lily spent the next hour listening as Amelia shared family gossip about Victor. Each piece of information was another weapon in Lily's arsenal. By the time they parted, Lily had learned about 3 more properties Victor was quietly trying to sell, as well as trouble in his new marriage. Sabrina expected a 3-week honeymoon in Europe, Amelia had whispered. Victor cut it down to 5 days in Napa Valley. She was not happy. Back at her apartment, Lily called Sarah again. "I want to move on those other properties Victor is selling. Use different shell companies for each one. And let's find out more about Sabrina's father. If Victor was hoping for financial help from his new father-in-law, I want to make sure that door closes." "Isn't this getting personal?" Sarah asked cautiously. Lily paused. Was it personal? Yes, of course it was. Victor represented everything she hated about the tech industry. The emphasis on image over substance. The way people like her were overlooked because they didn't fit the expected mold. "This isn't just about revenge, Sarah. It's about justice. Victor built his success by stealing other people's ideas and taking credit for work he didn't do. He's hurt countless people along the way. Someone needs to hold him accountable." "I understand. But be careful, Lily. Victor might be desperate now. And desperate people can be dangerous." Lily appreciated Sarah's concern, but she wasn't worried. She had protected herself well. All the moves against Victor were being made through layers of shell companies and proxies. There was no paper trail leading back to her. 2 weeks after the wedding, Phase 2 was in full swing. Tech Daily published another article this one detailing how Victor had sold 4 properties in quick succession, all at below-market prices. The article mentioned rumors of Caldwell Innovations missing payroll and delaying vendor payments. Victor's spokesperson called the article fake news, but didn't provide any evidence to contradict it. Lily watched from afar as Victor's perfect facade continued to crumble. He cancelled a keynote speech at a major tech conference, citing scheduling conflicts. His social media accounts, usually updated several times a day, went quiet. Sabrina, however, continued posting pictures of their lavish lifestyle, creating an odd disconnect that people began to notice and comment on. It was time for Lily to make her next move. She decided to attend a charity gala where she knew Victor would be present. This time, she wouldn't be invisible. This time, she wanted him to notice her. The night of the gala arrived, and Lily chose her outfit carefully. No more simple, modest dresses. Tonight, she wore a stunning silver gown that complemented her wheelchair rather than trying to make it less noticeable. Her dark hair was styled elegantly, and for once, she wore makeup and jewelry that highlighted her natural beauty. As her driver helped her from the car at the entrance to the Grand Plaza Hotel, Lily took a deep breath. This was a different kind of battlefield, but she was prepared. Inside, the gala was in full swing. The event was raising money for children with disabilities, a cause that Victor publicly supported while privately mocking. Lily made her entrance, drawing eyes as she smoothly navigated through the crowd. She noticed several people doing double takes, not because of her wheelchair, but because she looked stunning. She spotted Victor at the bar, looking tense as he spoke with a group of investors. He had lost weight since the wedding, and his usual confident smile seemed forced. Beside him, Sabrina looked bored, checking her phone every few minutes. Lily positioned herself within Victor's line of sight and waited. It didn't take long for him to notice her. His eyes widened in recognition, and he visibly stiffened. He said something to his group and then made his way toward her. "Ms. Montgomery," he said, his voice tight. "I didn't expect to see you here." "Hello, Victor," Lily replied calmly. "Beautiful event, isn't it? I always support causes helping people with disabilities." "Yes, of course," he said, glancing around nervously. "Listen, I've been meaning to ask you, how do you know about my company's private business matters?" Lily smiled. "I make it my business to know things, Victor. For instance, I know that Westridge pulled their investment from your new security platform, and I know the Nakamura deal fell through last week." Victor's face paled. "Who are you, really? Who do you work for?" "I'm exactly who I said I am, Lily Montgomery." "But you're—" He gestured vaguely toward her wheelchair. "Disabled?" Lily finished for him. "Yes. Does that surprise you? That someone in a wheelchair could know so much about your business?" Victor had the decency to look embarrassed. "That's not what I meant." "Isn't it?" Lily held his gaze. 3 years ago, at the Tech World conference in San Francisco, you made a joke about the presenter in the wheelchair. You thought no one important heard you. Victor's expression shifted from embarrassment to fear. "That was you. You were there. I was there. And I heard everything." Before Victor could respond, Sabrina appeared at his side. "Victor, I'm bored. Can we leave soon?" She barely glanced at Lily. "Not now, Sabrina," Victor snapped. "I'm in the middle of something important." Sabrina rolled her eyes and walked away, clearly used to being dismissed. "Your new wife seems charming," Lily remarked. Victor ignored the comment. "What do you want from me? Money? A job? What?" "I don't want anything from you, Victor. I just want you to know that I'm watching, and I know the truth about you and your company." With that, Lily turned her wheelchair and moved away, leaving Victor standing alone, visibly shaken. As she crossed the room, she could feel his eyes following her. Good. Let him wonder. Let him worry. What Victor didn't know was that Phase 3 was about to begin, and it would be the most devastating yet. As she left the gala, Lily's phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. "Breaking news! Caldwell Innovations just lost their biggest government contract, stock down 28% in after-hours trading. Lily smiled to herself. She hadn't planned that particular blow, but she would certainly take it. Victor's empire was collapsing faster than expected. By the time she was done with him, he would understand what it truly meant to be invisible, to be dismissed, to be underestimated. The car pulled away from the curb, and Lily stared out at the city lights. For the first time in years, she felt a sense of righteous satisfaction. Victor Caldwell was about to learn a very important lesson. Never judge someone by their appearance. Sometimes, the person you overlook is the very person who holds your fate in their hands. The morning after the charity gala, Victor Caldwell sat in his home office, surrounded by screens displaying the latest news about his company. None of it was good. Caldwell Innovations' stock had fallen to an all-time low. The lost government contract had made headlines across every tech news outlet. Investors were panicking, and his phone wouldn't stop ringing. "What do you mean you can't fix this?" Victor shouted into his phone. "That's what I pay you for. I don't care what it takes. Get our stock price back up." He ended the call and threw his phone onto the desk. His hands were shaking. Everything was falling apart, and he couldn't understand why. Just a month ago, he had been on top of the world. Successful business, beautiful new wife, respect from his peers. Now it was all slipping away. And then there was Lily Montgomery, the woman in the wheelchair who somehow knew all his secrets. Victor pulled up an internet search on his computer. Lily Montgomery Tech Industry. The results were sparse, a few mentions in business filings, but no photos, no interviews, no social media presence. It was as if she barely existed. "Who are you?" he muttered to the screen. Across town, Lily was also looking at screens, but hers displayed very different information. Phase 3 was ready to launch. "Sarah, are you sure about this?" Lily asked, studying the documents on her tablet. "Absolutely," Sarah replied from the video call. "Our legal team has verified everything. Victor didn't just steal ideas from smaller companies. He actively sabotaged them afterward so they couldn't compete with him. We have proof of at least 5 cases." Lily nodded slowly. This was exactly what she had suspected. Victor's success wasn't built on innovation, but on theft and destruction. "Send the evidence to the tech journalists we discussed. Make sure they understand the seriousness of these allegations." "What about the timing? Victor's company is already struggling. This could destroy him completely." "That's the point," Lily said firmly. "He deserves to face the consequences of his actions." After ending the call, Lily wheeled herself to the window. The view of Los Angeles never failed to calm her. So many lives, so many stories happening all at once. Her own story had been hidden for so long, but soon everyone would know her name. 3 days later, the bomb dropped. Tech Daily published a front-page exposé. Caldwell Innovations built on stolen ideas, former employees claim. The article detailed how Victor had systematically stolen ideas from smaller startups, used his money and connections to patent them first, then crushed the original creators with legal threats. The article included testimonies from former employees and actual emails from Victor, showing his complete disregard for ethics. The final blow was a quote from a founder whose company had been destroyed by Victor's tactics. "He took everything from me, my company, my idea, my future, and he laughed about it." The reaction was swift and severe. Victor's remaining investors began pulling out. Business partners distanced themselves. The board of Caldwell Innovations called an emergency meeting. Lily watched it all unfold from her apartment, feeling a complex mix of satisfaction and emptiness. Yes, Victor was getting what he deserved, but would it really change anything? Would it make people like him treat people like her with more respect? Her phone rang. It was Amelia, Victor's cousin. "Lily, have you seen the news about Victor?" Amelia sounded upset. "I have," Lily replied carefully. "It sounds like he's in serious trouble." "It's worse than that. The family is in shock. Victor's father had a heart attack when the news broke, and Sabrina has moved out of their house. No one can reach Victor. He's not answering his phone. Lily hadn't expected this. She wanted justice, not additional victims. I'm sorry about Victor's father. How serious is it? He's stable now, but it was a close call. Listen, I know this is strange, but I feel like I can talk to you. There's going to be a family meeting tomorrow at Victor's house. His sister insisted. They're worried about him. Why are you telling me this? There was a pause on the other end of the line. Because I think you might be able to help. There's something about you, Lily. You seem to understand what's happening better than anyone else. After the call ended, Lily sat in silence, thinking. This wasn't how she had planned things. Victor deserved to face consequences, yes, but she hadn't considered how his fall would affect others around him. Was she becoming just like him, focused only on her goal, regardless of collateral damage? The next day, despite her misgivings, Lily found herself being driven to Victor's mansion in the hills above Los Angeles. She had told herself she just wanted to observe, to see firsthand the results of her actions. But deep down, she knew there was more to it than that. The gate to Victor's property was open, and several cars were parked in the circular driveway. Lily's driver helped her out and into her wheelchair. "Should I wait, Ms. Montgomery?" he asked. "Yes, please. I won't be long." As Lily approached the front door, it opened to reveal Amelia. "Lily, you came?" Amelia seemed relieved. "Thank you. Please come in." The inside of Victor's mansion was just as impressive as one would expect. High ceilings, expensive art, designer furniture. But there was a tension in the air, a feeling that the beautiful surroundings were now just a backdrop to a family disaster. In the large living room, several people were gathered in small groups, talking in hushed voices. Lily recognized Victor's sister from photos online. A middle-aged couple who must be his parents sat on a sofa, his father looking pale and tired. "Victor's upstairs," Amelia whispered. "He won't come down. Won't talk to anyone." "And you think I can help?" Lily asked, suddenly doubtful about her decision to come. "I don't know, but you seem to understand what's happening with his business. Maybe you can make him see reason." Before Lily could respond, Victor's sister approached them. "Who's this?" she asked Amelia, eyeing Lily with suspicion. "This is Lily Montgomery. She's a business associate of Victor's." Victor's sister frowned. "I've never heard him mention you." "We're not close," Lily admitted, "but I understand what he's going through." "Do you? My brother is being destroyed in the press. His company is collapsing. His wife has left him. Do you really understand that?" The accusation stung, partly because Lily was responsible for much of Victor's current trouble. "I understand that actions have consequences," she said quietly, "even for people who think they're above the rules." Victor's sister stared at her for a long moment, then shook her head. "Whatever. If you want to try talking to him, he's in his office upstairs. First door on the right. Good luck getting him to open the door." Amelia helped Lily navigate to the elevator that would take her to the second floor. As the doors closed, Lily felt a moment of doubt. What was she doing here? This wasn't part of her plan. When the elevator doors opened on the second floor, Lily wheeled herself down the hallway to Victor's office. She knocked firmly on the door. "Go away," came Victor's voice from inside. He sounded terrible. "It's Lily Montgomery," she called through the door. "We need to talk." There was a long pause, then the sound of footsteps. The door opened to reveal Victor, looking like a shell of his former self. Unshaven, hair a mess, wearing wrinkled clothes that looked like he'd slept in them. His eyes widened when he saw her. "You? What are you doing here?" "Your family is worried about you," Lily said simply. "May I come in?" Victor stared at her for a moment, then stepped back, allowing her to enter. His office was a mess, papers everywhere, empty coffee cups, a half-eaten sandwich forgotten on the desk. "Did you come to gloat?" he asked bitterly, slumping into his desk chair. "To see the great Victor Caldwell brought low?" "No," Lily replied, positioning her wheelchair across from him. I came to talk. About what? My company is finished. My reputation is ruined. What else is there to say? Lily studied him carefully. The arrogant, charismatic tech celebrity was gone, replaced by a defeated man who had lost everything that mattered to him. Do you know who I really am, Victor? He laughed without humor. Some corporate spy? A competitor who's been plotting against me? At this point, does it even matter? I'm the founder and CEO of Montgomery Tech Solutions. Victor's head snapped up, his eyes focusing for the first time. What? That's impossible. Montgomery Tech is run by a team of executives. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows what I wanted them to know, Lily said. I built my company from nothing, working from the shadows while others served as the public face. Unlike you, I didn't need the spotlight. Victor stared at her in disbelief. But you're in a wheelchair, Lily finished for him. Yes, that's why I chose to stay anonymous, because people like you would never take me seriously otherwise. The realization slowly dawned on Victor's face. You're my biggest competitor. Montgomery Tech has been eating into my market share for years. Yes, and now I've been systematically dismantling your company and your reputation. The lost investments, the negative press, the exposed secrets. That was all me. Victor's shock turned to anger. Why? What did I ever do to you? 3 years ago, Tech World Conference, you mocked a presenter because they were in a wheelchair. You said, and I quote, "How can someone who can't even walk think they can lead in the tech industry?" Victor's face paled. That presenter was you. No, but I was in the audience. I heard every word, and I decided then that someday you would learn how wrong you were. Victor stood up, pacing the room. So this whole thing, my company falling apart, my wife leaving, my entire life crumbling, it's all because of some stupid comment I made years ago? No, Lily said firmly. It's because of who you are, Victor. The comment just showed me your true character. Everything that's happening now is the result of your own actions. You stole ideas. You crushed smaller companies. You built your success on other people's work. I just made sure the truth came out. Victor stopped pacing and faced her. So what happens now? You've won. I've lost. Is that enough for you? Lily hadn't expected this question. What did she want now? Revenge had driven her for so long, but seeing Victor like this, broken, defeated, gave her no satisfaction. I don't know, she admitted. I wanted justice. I wanted you to face consequences for your actions, but I didn't consider the impact on your family. Victor sat down again, running his hands through his hair. My father nearly died because of this. That wasn't my intention, but it happened. Victor looked up at her. So now that you've destroyed me, what's your plan? Take over my company? Buy up what's left for pennies on the dollar? Lily shook her head. No, that was never the goal. They sat in silence for a long moment. Two tech giants, one visible but falling, one hidden but powerful, facing each other across a desk strewn with the remnants of a ruined empire. Finally, Victor spoke. You know what the worst part is? Everything they're saying about me is true. I did steal ideas. I did crush competitors. I did it all, and I never thought twice about it. Because that's how you win in this industry. No, Lily said firmly. That's how you lose in the long run. I built my company on innovation and respect. That's why Montgomery Tech is still standing while Caldwell Innovations is collapsing. Victor looked at her with genuine curiosity. How did you do it? Build a tech empire from a wheelchair without anyone knowing who you really are? The same way anyone builds anything worth having. Hard work, integrity, and surrounding myself with people I could trust. For the first time, Victor seemed to see her, really see her, not as a disabled woman, not as an enemy, but as an equal. A fellow tech entrepreneur who had succeeded where he had failed. Your family is downstairs, Lily said, turning her wheelchair toward the door. They're worried about you. Wait, Victor called as she reached the door. What am I supposed to do now? My company is finished. My reputation is destroyed. Lily paused, considering her answer carefully. Start over. Build something real this time. Something based on your own ideas, not stolen ones. And remember that success isn't measured by magazine covers or the size of your mansion. Why would you give me advice? You hate me. I don't hate you, Victor. I hate what you represent. The idea that image matters more than substance. That some people are worth less than others because of how they look or what they can or can't do physically. With that, Lily left the room, closing the door behind her. As she waited for the elevator, she heard the sound of Victor's office door opening, then his footsteps heading toward the stairs. When Lily returned to the living room, Victor was there, speaking quietly with his parents. He looked up as she entered, their eyes meeting briefly across the room. There was no anger in his gaze now, just a quiet acknowledgement. Amelia approached Lily, looking amazed. You got him to come downstairs. How did you do it? Sometimes people just need perspective, Lily replied. I should go now. As her driver helped her back into the car, Lily felt a strange sense of emptiness. She had achieved what she set out to do. Victor had faced the consequences of his actions. His company was in ruins, his reputation destroyed. But the victory felt hollow. On the drive back to her apartment, Lily stared out the window, watching the city pass by. Phase 3 was complete, but she realized now that there needed to be a Phase 4, one she hadn't planned for originally. It wasn't enough to tear down what was wrong. Now she needed to help build something better in its place. Her phone buzzed with a message from Sarah. Breaking news alert. Victor Caldwell has resigned as CEO of Caldwell Innovations. Stock down another 15%. Lily put the phone away without responding. The game had changed. Now she needed to decide what winning really meant. 1 month after Victor Caldwell's resignation, the tech world had moved on to new scandals and success stories. Caldwell Innovations still existed, but as a shadow of its former self. The company had been forced to sell off most of its assets to stay afloat. Victor himself had disappeared from public view, and rumors circulated about where he might be and what he might be doing. Lily Montgomery sat in her office, looking out at the Los Angeles skyline. Unlike her modest apartment, her actual workplace was impressive. The top floor of a downtown skyscraper, with floor-to-ceiling windows and modern furnishings designed to accommodate her wheelchair with ease. Ms. Montgomery, your 10 o'clock appointment is here, her assistant announced through the intercom. Send them in, please, Lily replied, turning her wheelchair away from the window. The door opened, and a young woman in her 20s entered. She looked nervous, clutching a tablet to her chest. Ms. Montgomery? I'm Emma Chen. Thank you for seeing me. Lily smiled warmly. Please sit down, and call me Lily. Emma sat in the chair across from Lily's desk, still looking anxious. I have to admit, I was surprised when I got your email. I never expected the CEO of Montgomery Tech to reach out to someone like me. Someone like you? You mean someone who created an innovative security algorithm that could change the entire industry? Emma blushed. Well, when you put it that way. But still, I'm just a recent graduate with a small startup. Why would you want to meet with me? Lily wheeled herself around to Emma's side of the desk. Because talent deserves recognition, no matter where it comes from. I've been watching your work for months, and I believe your company has incredible potential. Is that why you're offering to invest? Because honestly, your email seemed too good to be true. It's a genuine offer, Lily assured her. Montgomery Tech wants to provide funding for your startup with no strings attached. You maintain control of your company and your intellectual property. We're simply investing in your future. Emma's eyes widened. But why? What do you get out of it? A better tech industry, Lily said simply. For too long, this business has been dominated by people who think success means crushing the competition and stealing ideas. I want to change that. After Emma left, still looking slightly dazed by her good fortune, Lily checked her schedule for the day. She had 5 more meetings with promising young tech entrepreneurs, all from backgrounds typically underrepresented in the industry. Women, people of color, people with disabilities. Each one would receive the same offer: investment with no strings attached. This was phase 4 of Lily's plan. Not destruction, but creation. Using her vast resources to support innovators who might otherwise be overlooked or exploited by people like Victor. As Lily prepared for her next meeting, Sarah knocked on her office door. "You have a visitor," Sarah said, looking uncomfortable. "He doesn't have an appointment." "Who is it?" "Victor Caldwell." Lily felt a jolt of surprise. She hadn't seen or spoken to Victor since that day at his mansion. "Send him in." A moment later, Victor walked through the door. He looked different, thinner, with a short beard and casual clothes instead of his usual designer suits. But the biggest change was in his eyes. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something more humble. "Hello, Lily," he said, standing awkwardly by the door. "Nice office. Much more impressive than your apartment." "The apartment was just for show," Lily replied, watching him carefully. "What brings you here, Victor?" He walked to the window, looking out at the view. "I've been doing a lot of thinking over the past month. About my company, my life choices, who I've been. And I owe you an apology." He turned to face her. "Not just for what I said at that conference years ago, but for who I was, for everything I did to get ahead in this industry." Lily studied his face, looking for signs of deception. She saw none. "Apology accepted. Is that all?" Victor shook his head. "No. I also came to thank you." "Thank me?" Lily couldn't hide her surprise. "I destroyed your company, your reputation, your marriage." "You exposed the truth," Victor corrected her. "And yes, it was painful, extremely painful, but it was also necessary." He took a seat across from her desk. "After you left that day, I had a long talk with my family. My father told me he'd always been disappointed in how I ran my business, taking shortcuts, stealing ideas. He just never said anything because I seemed so successful." "What have you been doing since you resigned?" Lily asked. "Soul searching, mostly. I sold the mansion, paid off my debts. I've been living in a small house near the beach, trying to figure out what comes next." He gave a small laugh. "It's amazing how little you actually need to live comfortably." Lily was skeptical. "Are you telling me that losing everything has made you a better person? That seems a bit convenient." "I'm not saying I'm a saint now," Victor replied. "But yes, losing everything forced me to take a hard look at myself, at who I was becoming." He leaned forward. "That's not why I'm here, though. I came because I heard what you're doing." "What do you mean?" "The Montgomery Foundation for Innovation, investing in small startups, focusing on founders from underrepresented groups. It's all over the tech blogs." Lily nodded. She had announced the foundation last week. "What about it?" "I want to help," Victor said simply. Lily laughed. "You want to help? You don't have any money left to invest." "Not with money," Victor agreed. "With experience, with connections I still have, with mentoring." He stood up and paced the room. "Look, I know I did a lot of things wrong, but I also built a successful tech company from the ground up. I know how this industry works, the good and the bad parts. I could help these young entrepreneurs avoid the pitfalls, make smart decisions." Lily was stunned into silence. This was the last thing she had expected when Victor walked through her door. "Why would I trust you with these startups?" she finally asked. "After everything you did in the past?" "Because I have nothing to gain by hurting them," Victor replied. "My reputation is already destroyed. My company is gone. The only way forward for me is to try to do some good in the world." He looked at her directly. "And because you'll be watching me every step of the way." Lily wheeled herself to the window, thinking, was this another one of Victor's manipulations, or had he genuinely changed? People could change, she knew that. But could Victor Caldwell really transform from a ruthless tech predator into a mentor for the next generation? I need to think about this, she said finally. Give me your contact information and I'll be in touch. After Victor left, Lily sat quietly, processing what had just happened. Part of her wanted to dismiss his offer immediately, but another part, the part that had built a tech empire by making smart, strategic decisions, recognized the potential value in what he was proposing. What do you think? She asked Sarah, who had returned to the office. I think he's desperate and looking for redemption, Sarah replied bluntly. The question is whether that desperation will make him a better person or just a better actor. I agree, Lily said. But what if we could harness that desire for redemption? Use it to actually help these young companies? Sarah looked skeptical. You're not seriously considering his offer, are you? I'm considering a revised version of it, Lily said, an idea taking shape in her mind. What if, instead of letting him mentor these startups directly, we create a program where former tech executives share their knowledge, both good and bad, with new entrepreneurs? Victor could be part of it, but he wouldn't have direct influence over any one company. A tech ethics program, Sarah mused. It could work, and it would give people like Victor a chance to actually make amends rather than just disappearing. 2 weeks later, Lily found herself on stage at a tech conference, the same conference where she had heard Victor's insulting comments 3 years earlier. But this time, she wasn't in the audience. She was the keynote speaker. As her wheelchair was elevated to the podium, Lily looked out at the crowd. Hundreds of faces stared back at her, many showing surprise. This was her first public appearance as the founder and CEO of Montgomery Tech. For most people in the room, this was the first time they were learning that the mysterious Lily Montgomery was a woman in a wheelchair. Good morning, she began, her voice strong and clear. For those who don't know me, I'm Lily Montgomery. For the past 15 years, I've built and run Montgomery Tech Solutions from behind the scenes. Today that changes. She paused, looking around the room. I hid my identity for years because I knew how this industry treats people who look different, who move differently, who don't fit the expected mold of what a tech leader should be. I knew that many of you would dismiss me if you saw me before you heard my ideas. The audience shifted uncomfortably, many people avoiding eye contact. But hiding solved nothing. It allowed the problem to continue. So today, I'm not just revealing myself as the founder of Montgomery Tech. I'm also announcing the launch of the Tech Ethics Initiative. On the screen behind her, the initiative's logo appeared. This program will pair experienced tech executives with new entrepreneurs, focusing on ethical business practices and inclusive innovation. Our goal is to create a tech industry where success isn't measured by who you can crush, but by what you can create. She took a deep breath before continuing. Our first advisor in this program is someone many of you know, Victor Caldwell. A murmur ran through the crowd as Victor stepped onto the stage, joining Lily at the podium. Victor made mistakes, Lily continued. Serious ones. He's been paying for those mistakes and will continue to do so. But rather than casting him out, we're giving him a chance to use his experience to help create a better tech industry, one ethical decision at a time. Victor stepped to the microphone. Thank you, Lily. He turned to face the audience. I won't try to excuse my past actions. What I did was wrong. Stealing ideas, crushing smaller companies, building my success on the work of others. I'm here today not to ask for forgiveness, but to offer a warning. He gestured around the room. Many of you are doing exactly what I did. You think it's just how the game is played, but that game has real victims, and eventually it has real consequences. He glanced at Lily. I learned that the hard way. After the presentation, Lily found herself surrounded by journalists, all shouting questions at once. Ms. Montgomery, why did you keep your identity secret for so long? Is it true that you orchestrated Victor Caldwell's downfall? How do you respond to those who say you can't lead a tech company from a wheelchair? Lily held up her hand for silence. One at a time, please. And to answer that last question, I've been leading a tech company from this wheelchair for 15 years. Our stock price speaks for itself." The room erupted in laughter, and Lily felt a weight lift from her shoulders. No more hiding. No more working from the shadows. From now on, she would be visible, not just for herself, but for everyone else who had been told they didn't belong in the tech world. Later that evening, Lily sat in her apartment, watching the news coverage of the conference. Her phone buzzed with a text from Amelia. "You were amazing today. Dinner next week?" Lily smiled and texted back a quick yes. Her relationship with Victor's cousin had evolved into a genuine friendship over the past weeks. Another text came in, this one from Victor. "Thank you for the second chance. I won't waste it." Lily set her phone down, thinking about how much had changed in the past few months. She had started with a simple plan for revenge against one arrogant man, but it had evolved into something much more important, a movement to change the tech industry itself. She wheeled herself to the window, looking out at the lights of Los Angeles. In the reflection of the glass, she could see herself clearly, a woman who had hidden for too long, who had let fear of judgment keep her in the shadows. No more. The next morning, Lily arrived at her office earlier than usual. She had a full day ahead, meetings with investors, interviews with potential additions to the Tech Ethics Initiative, and a lunch with Emma Chen to discuss her startup's progress. "Ms. Montgomery," her assistant greeted her, "your schedule is packed today. Are you sure you don't want to reschedule some meetings?" "No need," Lily replied, a new confidence in her voice. "I've spent too long hiding in the shadows. It's time to step into the light." As she wheeled herself into her first meeting of the day, the sun streaming through the windows of her office, Lily thought about how far she had come. From the girl whose parents worried she'd never live independently, to the woman who had built a tech empire from her wheelchair, to the leader who was now working to transform an entire industry. The journey hadn't been easy. There had been pain, anger, and a desire for revenge that had nearly consumed her. But in the end, she had found something better than revenge: purpose. A chance to create real change, not just for herself, but for everyone who had ever been overlooked or underestimated. Victor Caldwell had learned his lesson, but more importantly, Lily Montgomery had found her voice. And now, the world would hear it. As Lily began her presentation to the eager investors gathered in her conference room, she thought of all the people like her, those with disabilities, those from different backgrounds, those who didn't fit the typical mold, who had important ideas to share with the world. "Today," she began, "we're not just investing in technology. We're investing in people, in all their brilliant diversity." And for the first time in her life, Lily felt truly seen for who she was. Not just a woman in a wheelchair, not just a billionaire tech mogul, but a person with the power to make a difference. The invisible woman had finally stepped into the spotlight, and the world was better for it.